It's clear that President Barack Obama really wants to emphasize efforts to control gun violence as a major initiative in his new term. He mentioned Newtown several times in his inauguration address on Monday, the 21st of January, and the previous week he had announced a series of proposals designed to reduce gun violence, including some executive actions, which he's already taken, and then a series of legislative proposals, which he would like Congress to pass into law. Well, we've tested these in several different ways, and the bottom line is Americans generally favor what the president has proposed. One way we tested this was simply to say that Obama had proposed a set, and we use that word set, of proposals to reduce gun violence, and then we asked the public, would you want your representative in Congress to vote for or against these proposals? And a majority of 53% of Americans said yes. So there we know that generically or generally Americans favor the idea. Then, to be sure, we went back and tested 9 of the specific proposals that Obama had made one by one and asked Americans if they could vote on each one, would they vote a law that would enact that proposal or not. And here again, we found at least a majority favored every one of these. In fact, we found a supermajority favoring some of the things that Obama had proposed. Look there in front of you, 91% of Americans, and rare do we find that kind of agreement on anything, but 91% of Americans said they would vote for a law that would require criminal background checks for all gun sales. 82% would favor government spending for mental health programs for young people and so on. At the bottom of the list is the percent who would favor banning ammunition clips of more than 10 rounds in each one, but even that is 54% who would vote for it. So again, evidence from 2 different sets of questions that Americans favor what the president has proposed in general. They want their congressperson to vote these into law, and they personally would vote for them themselves if they were on the ballot. Now, there are differences, however, and that's what I want to make as a final point. As I mentioned before, there are gradations of support for all of these, and clearly there is more support for initiatives that would focus on security in schools and mental health than that would focus on banning the sales of certain types of weapons and ammunition. In fact, we ask Americans, if you had a choice, which would you want Congress to focus more on, security in schools and mental health training and screening, or banning the sales of guns and ammunition? And we found, as you can see there, a clear majority favoring the mental health and security initiatives. But nevertheless, even though Americans tilt in that direction, I would remind you there is majority support for every single proposal that President Obama made in terms of legislative initiatives when he announced his program to curb gun violence. Now we'll see what happens as this moves forward. I'm Dr. Frank Newport, Gallup Editor-in-Chief.